Not so long ago, a bunch of AAA game developers were extremely angry. And I mean they were furious. They had steam coming from their head, and they were stomping around. Why? Because a good video game released. Now, I know me saying that out loud, that makes absolutely no sense. Because should it be the opposite? Should everyone be coming together and celebrating and being happy that a studio ended up releasing an extremely good video game, and they're making a lot of money, and they're very successful? Well, see, that makes sense. And we don't really live in a sensible timeline anymore. We live in the goofy timeline, where people are extremely stupid, really bitter, and jealous. Not so long ago, a game known as Baldur's Gate 3 ended up releasing, and this game is an absolute masterpiece. The characters are absolutely amazing. The world is beautiful and interested, and they actually believe in world building. I know, something crazy. Imagine a brand new video game where you actually are in a world that you want to explore. This game is just a masterpiece. And this 100% makes sense, because the last game, Lorien, the people who made the game, ended up releasing, was within the original Sins 2. And I have talked about this game multiple times. I think it is also a masterpiece. But Lorien was always underground. They were an indie company because for some weird reason, people just wasn't really paying attention to them. But now with Baldur's Gate 3, they 100% hit the mainstream. And now they're in the center of attention and everyone is talking about them. And it is absolutely amazing. I'm so happy for the studio and the team that they're finally getting the attention that they deserve. Because they make absolutely amazing AAA games. And when this game came out, a lot of people were talking about it on Twitter, saying how much fun they have, and talking about how amazing it is. And everyone was happy, except a bunch of AAA devs. A lot of people were going around and saying how this game should basically be a gold standard on how video games should release, which they're 100% right. Baldur's Gate release, and one, the game works, you can play it, it barely have any bugs, and the bugs that it does have, it's just extremely funny things, like sometime a character randomly T-pose, or just a little glitch. Very tiny. So the game release finished, something extremely rare. It has no microtransactions, which is also something extremely rare, and it's actually good. Three things that are basically impossible in modern AAA games, because most of the time your game rather release broken and unfinished, it's rather just extremely bad, or it's just filled to the brim with microtransactions. This game doesn't do that, and the people who made it actually wants to release a good product that people should play and actually have fun. And a lot of AAA game developers were saying that this is something that we should not be expecting. It's saying that our standards are way too high, and this is something that we shouldn't expect all games to be. Which is just something that I want to talk about. AAA games are in a very interesting state where we are now at the point where you don't even need to make a good video game to actually make millions of dollars. Think about all of the most played games right now. They're probably live service games, and I'm guarantee you all of them suck. A good example is something like Destiny 2. Actually horrible. There is no reason to play the game. It has absolutely no content, and the game developers are lazy. Why? Because they don't care about the game at all. They don't want to make a good product, and they don't want to make a game that is actually fun. They just want to make something where they can make infinite money. And they have basically succeeded. Destiny 2 is at the point where the game developers are so lazy that they don't even want to release one armor set every year. They say that they don't have enough resources, even though every season they're easily able to refill the Eververse store, which is their microtransaction store, and give it a brand new armor set every single season. But actually making a game update is way too difficult. And think about all of the AAA games that release that you pay $60 and it barely even works. Something like Redfall. And another good example is Cyberpunk. Another game that is absolutely terrible that the studio released knowing that the game was broken, knowing that the game was unfinished, but they still pushed it out anyway because they know that they will make millions of dollars. They are 100% right. Destiny 2 makes millions of dollars each year. Cyberpunk is going to make millions of dollars because for some weird reason people just like to forget how terrible the game game release, and they ended up saying that the studio CD Projekt Red has redeemed themselves, which makes absolutely no sense. Okay, they released an anime, which was absolutely amazing, but all because they do that, that doesn't mean we're just suddenly going to excuse that the last game they released was actually a broken piece of garbage. But unfortunately, we don't live in that world. All you need to do is make a game that is playable, and for some weird reason, your core community will defend literally everything that you do. The last thing that game developers want is your standard to be raised. Because if gamers actually get higher expectations and actually want their game to release finished and not broken and not filled to the brim with microtransactions, it's absolutely over. They're gonna have to do the one thing that they fear the most, and that is actually put in effort to make a good video game that is worth your money. And they just don't want to do that anymore, because why? Again, if you only care about money in modern AAA gaming, you are wasting your time if you're making a good game. You can still get millions of dollars and release absolute garbage. But I think them being extremely angry is something that's good, because this 100% shows how terrible modern gaming is at this point. The fact that if you just expect a video game to release finished, your expectations are way too high, which is just absolutely crazy to me. This is just pathetic and sad. I have no clue how game developers can be this jaded and jealous, because that's just simply what it is. Because when was the last time something like this happened? When Elden Ring released. That was another game that was an absolute masterpiece. It was amazing, and it was a AAA game that's actually worth $60. And when this ended up releasing, we probably all remember the time when a bunch of Ubisoft devs got absolutely pissed off that people were enjoying this game. How dare that a game developer actually spend effort to make a good game? That's not something that you should do. You should go and make an absolute garbage game like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That's just 1,000 hours filled with garbage and microtransactions. Why would he go and release a good game? Are you crazy? Do you not want to make money? So I think this situation is absolutely amazing, and I'm happy to see all these game devs mad, and I hope this never changes. Now, sadly, I truly do not think anything is going to change. I really think games like Baldur 3 are going to be extremely rare, because for some weird reason, gamers are just 100% content with buying bad games. That is the point that we have reached. So I do think they are probably going to continue making soulless garbage games over and over again until the end of time, which is something that I think we just shouldn't buy. I truly do think all gamers should come together and boycott these absolutely garbage AAA games, and they'll support them. But we all know that's probably never gonna happen. Anyway, go and play Baldur's Gate 3. Support a game developer who actually cares about gaming and actually want to release a good product, and please stop buying these soulless garbage cash grabs that absolutely no one cares about. Stop playing these garbage live service games. Stop spending $70 on unfinished mess, and please stop defending this. That's the thing that pisses me off the most. Spend your money and support game developers who actually care about making a good game. Play stuff like that and not garbage live service soulless messes. Anyway, my name is Lua. This is something I want to talk about. You have a good day or night. See ya.